Hello everyone, and welcome to the lecture on Jupyter Notebook overview. In this lecture, we'll look at some of the features of Jupyter Notebook. Okay, let's start. If you are using Mac, open up your terminal, or if you are using Windows, open up your Anaconda command prompt. So hit Command and space and type terminal if you are using Mac. And for Windows users, click on your Windows Start button and then type Anaconda command prompt and open the command prompt. And to open up Jupyter Notebook, all we have to do is type Jupyter, Jupyter space notebook. Jupyter space notebook and press enter. This will open up Jupyter Notebook on your machine. This is the Jupyter Notebook homepage. To start a new notebook, click on the new drop down here, new, and then select Python 2. And as I mentioned before, Jupyter has made an update and you might not see the option Python 2. You might see Python root or Python default, which is fine. Click on either Python root or Python default. So in my case, I'll click on Python 2, and this will open a new notebook for you. Okay, let's see some of the features. Here I have the title of my notebook. Right now, by default, it's Untitled 14. We can change the name of that. Let's name it Jupyter Notebook Overview. So this will be my notebook title. And these individual rectangles are called cells. That's where we write our codes. And here in the taskbar here, we have different options. We have File, Edit, View, Insert, Cell, Kernel, and Help. And if you click on any of those features, for instance, if I click on File, I'll see a lot of options. We have a new notebook option, open, make a copy, rename, save and checkpoint, and all of those. They are self-explanatory. If you click on Edit, you have options to cut cells, copy cells, delete cells, split cells, merge cells above, move cells up, move cells down. Those are so many different features. We won't be using much of those. We won't need them, but just in case if you are interested, you can explore more of these features under File, Edit. We have View, Insert, Cell above, Cell below. We have Cell, Run cells and select below. We have Kernel, Restart and Run all, Reconnect. Those are the different features that we have. We're not going to use much of those, but they are available for you and you can explore them. They are self-explanatory. And here we have icons. So this will save whatever you have written here. So that's the save button. And whenever you click on save, you see here, checkpoint created and then the time. This will add a new cell, insert cell below. This is to cut a cell, then copy, paste cell below, move cell up, move cell down. So those are some of the features we saw in File, Edit, View, and so on. So this is to run a cell. It says run cell, select below. Let's print a simple Python statement. Welcome to the course. So one way to run a cell is to click on this play button here. So if I click on that, the statement welcome to the course is printed. That's one way. Another way that we'll be using often is by hitting Shift plus Enter on your keyboard. So you have print welcome to the course, and if you select Shift and Enter on your keyboard, that will run the cell. Okay, Shift or Enter, or you can do Alt and Enter, that will also run your cell. So it's your choice. Mostly we'll be using Shift or Shift plus Enter to run a cell. Okay, that's how we can run a cell. Print welcome to the course. And once we have that, you can explore some of these features, edit, merge cells above, merge cells below, or so on. Usually what I use to add a new cell in between my cells is I just click on the plus sign here, and that will insert a cell right below the cell where you selected. So if I want to add a new cell between the first two lines here, to the first two cells, I will just select the first cell and click on the plus sign. If I want a new line to be added between these two cells, I just select the middle one and click on plus. Okay, so those are some easy features. And if I don't want the cell anymore, I just use the scissor to cut the cell. Okay, those are the main ones that I use, but feel free to explore all these options. They are self-explanatory. And kernel is to restart or interrupt. So you can interrupt what it's running, and that will interrupt what your program is running. And here you have code, and there's a drop down. You have code, markdown, heading, and row NBC convert. So we use that for titles and if we don't want something to be printed. Right now we are in code, so whatever we write will be printed. But if I want a title, for instance, let's add a title named adding comments. So this is a title, for instance. Then we can, now this cell is selected, I can go here and then change it to heading. So this is a level to heading. Press OK. So adding comments. If I run the cell, see, so this is like a comment, this is like a heading. So adding a comment, and then we can say this is one way of adding a comment. That's we can use this hash sign or the pound symbol to add a comment. So when we run this cell, this statement will not be executed. Okay, that's one way of adding a comment. And there we can include our statement. For instance, print it is so-called today. So in this case, only the statement it's so-called today will be printed. So this comment is a way of adding a description to our statement or code. Another option we have is a markdown cell. A markdown cell will also not be executed. So for instance, let's say this is a markdown cell. So if we go here, so first we need to select our cell, and then if we change this to a markdown cell and run it, it will not be executed, right? So this is a markdown cell. But now when we go to a new line, you see it's a code. If I click on the markdown cell, that's a markdown cell. by default we have a code. Another important feature is the following. Let's say we have a number, the number 9, and let's save our number in a variable called num. So now num is equal to 9. So I'm just saving my number 9 in a variable called num. So to run a cell again, shift plus enter on your keyboard. Now if I call my variable object num, I get the number 9. So num 9, because my variable or this num object is holding the number 9. Num is equal to 9. And another thing we can do is, if I say num and then that and then hit tab on your keyboard, so we have num that, and if we hit tab we'll see a list of methods available for that object. Okay, to see a list of methods available, we have our variable, we have our object num in this case, and then that followed by tab, and that will list out a list of methods that we have. Let's create another data type. Let's create a string and save it in a variable called, let's say, string object, and let's say this is a string and is one of the data types in Python. So this is an example of a string, and string is one of the data types in Python. Okay, and we have saved our string in a variable called string underscore object. So if we run this and then call our object, string object, so if we call our string object and run it, we get the value of our string. And to see the list of available methods in our string object, all we have to do is write our string object that and then hit tab. So these are the list of available methods or functions that we have on our string object. We look at most of these methods when we talk about strings, but here are a list of numbers, and we can use the up or down arrows on our keyboard to select any of these methods. Okay, for instance, I can select, now it's on string object that title, and then I can press enter and that will select title, and we can run the cell, shift plus enter, then we have that. So that's how we can select variable methods or functions that we have to see a list of those functions. So that's another feature. So those are most of the features, those are the main features that we'll be using for our course, but feel free to explore any of the features that we have in this toolbar. And you can also use Jupyter Online. That's also another option. To use Jupyter Online, go to jupyter.org, and you'll need an internet connection if you want to use Jupyter Online. So once you go to jupyter.org, this is the main page. If you scroll down, you'll see a button, try it in your browser. So click on that. Now we are using Jupyter Online, and we can open a new notebook by following the same steps. Click on the new drop down here, and in my case I'm using Python 2, so I'll choose the option for Python 2. So click on it, and that will open a new notebook for you online. Then I can use it here. Let's say print. This is awesome, and run it. So this is awesome is printed. We can say 7 plus 98, and we get the result. So that's another option for running Jupyter. You can run it online, which will need an internet connection, or you can run it on your own machine by starting it from your terminal if you are using Mac, or by opening it from your command prompt if you are using Windows. And once you are in your terminal or command prompt, simply type Jupyter space notebook and press enter. That will take you to that will open the Jupyter homepage, and you can start or open a new notebook by choosing new. And since I'm using Python 2, I'll choose Python 2. And you might see the options Python root or default. It's okay, choose either Python root or default, and that will open a new notebook for you. Great. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.